Michael Chandler, UFC lightweight. I mean, is it still sounding weird? Is it setting in? How does it feel now?
I think it's setting in. You know, it's starting to. I think it really won't set in till that cage door closes, the octagon door closes, and Bruce Buffer starts announcing my name. But you know, the last couple weeks have been a whirlwind, if you will. Still focusing on training as well. Along with all the new media and stuff, and just meeting all the new staff. So coming here, whether I fight or not, this is a great dress rehearsal, great dry run, rubbing elbows with all my new colleagues, all my new coworkers, and introducing the UFC fans to who Michael Chandler is. I've never pulled out of a fight, never said no to a fight, never missed weight, so I'm the perfect guy, especially in 2020, the year of all kinds of craziness. Have a backup fighter for this, the biggest lightweight fight possibly in you know, of the year for sure.
Was this a tough call for you? I mean, like this situation, right? It's so unique, right? I mean, on the one hand, you could come in and win a world title right away and you're a UFC champ. On the other hand, you may not fight at all, even though you're putting in a full camp and all that. So was this a difficult decision for you to make?
You know, I don't think it would be, and I can't put myself in my future self's shoes, but maybe down the line, after a couple fights or you know, a couple years in the organization, maybe I would have said yes after a little bit more leg pulling or twisting of the arm, if you will. But this one was a no-brainer. You know, Dana said, "Hey, October 24th, are you ready for October 24th?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." He floated the names Ferguson, Poirier. Would you be willing to fight these guys? I said, "Absolutely." Then he called me back soon after and said, "Hey, would you be willing to be the backup? And then maybe you could end up having a fight if we try to put one together." I said, "Absolutely." So I gave 3 yeses, and you know, I just wanted to show him right away that I'm here. I want to stay busy, and I also thrive in kind of the uncertainty, kind of the chaos, kind of the unorthodox type of paths. Anyway, you know, I'm taking a little bit of guff for it. People are, you know, saying things about me, you know, not actually being on the card, or I should have taken this fight or that fight or whatnot. But you know, I wanted to get to work right away. I signed this deal, you know, 4 or 5 weeks ago. You know, wanted to get to work right away. This is putting work in, even if I don't get to fight.
So what are you doing in terms of like readiness? I mean, obviously physical readiness, you're just getting ready, but like game planning and stuff. Are there 2 different game plans going on and 2 different scouting reports going on?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think in general, I really focus 80% of my training just on myself anyway. You know, but I think it really does help that Khabib, you have to prepare more for a grappling style. Gaethje, you need to prepare more for that striking style, striking defense and offense. So somewhere in the middle is the perfect game plan for kind of both of them, if you will. So I'm constantly trying to get better as a complete mixed martial artist. I've said it for years. I think my grappling will rival Khabib's, and as you guys have seen with my past performances and the dogfights and the wars that I've been in, I'm also not afraid to go out there and sling leather with Justin Gaethje for 5 rounds. So either way, I'm going to be prepared, and I even think that I may be more prepared for them if bad luck does befall the UFC, because I've prepared for them and they haven't prepared for me. So we'll see how it all plays out.
How long are you the backup? You know what I mean? Like, is there a cutoff where, I mean, 2020 is crazy. Do they call you like Saturday afternoon, like, you know, maybe you're watching the prelims on the couch or something? They're like, got some news for you.
Exactly. You know, I actually don't know, to be honest with you, and that's to be expected. I mean, I don't expect, you know. First of all, I think we took our 5th coronavirus test yesterday, right? And so those results will come out tomorrow morning. Then we have another coronavirus test tomorrow. I mean, myself and everyone else on the card will have put in 7 coronavirus tests over the last, you know, couple weeks, or, you know, whatever it is, 2 weeks at this point, just to get to this fight card. And so I understand the UFC's got a bigger things to worry about than telling me when I can, you know, take my blinders off and kind of put my fan hat on and just watch the fight. So,
will you just stay ready on Saturday?
Well, I mean, as of right now, I don't know if I'm going to be wrapped up, mouthpiece in, cup on, until Gaethje and Khabib walk to the cage. I don't know if they're inside the cage and they still haven't said, you know, no, until that cage door locks, you know. But you know, at this point, I'm not necessarily saying, hey, UFC, you need to tell me ASAP. You know, I'm here. I'm taking it all in. This is amazing. The amenities, the hospitality here has been amazing. So I haven't really thought too much about it, although it would be nice to know, hey, when can I take a bite of pizza or you know, pour an adult beverage?
You tweeted today, Khabib, I can't wait to prove you wrong. I'm curious exactly what specific point that he's made that you want to prove wrong?
You know, I think he started the dialogue. I mean, he said he doesn't even need to use his wrestling to beat me, and you know that's fine. I mean, I've said things like that, and people say I'm being disrespectful. So I don't take it disrespect. I think there's nothing wrong with unrelenting, audacious self-belief in yourself, and the man has it. The man is a champion for a reason. The man is widely regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. So he has every reason to believe that he would go out there and run right through me. But prove me wrong. You know, beat me if you can. I think I bring a specific skill set and a heart and determination, and honestly the culmination of the last 11 years of kind of the building up of getting this opportunity. And I think he was a little bit I guess submissive, or not submissive, but a little bit kind of flippant with me, a little bit, you know, kind of throwing me to the side, which he should. As the champion, he doesn't need to be talking about the no-name new guy, B-leaguer, whatever you want to call me. And he's probably tired of getting asked questions about me, and because this is his fight card. So I get it. I get his reaction, but you know, I can't wait to step into the cage with him.
Nice. Last thing for me. What is the backup plan for you? I mean, obviously you could get a world title fight on Saturday night. If you don't, what's the next move for you? Do you have an idea of, you know, should you be the next title fight guaranteed? Is there another fight that makes more sense? What's the move?
You know, I see obviously Khabib and Gaethje fighting this weekend, or at least, you know, they're matched up. If I don't fight, and then Conor and Poirier looks like is going to get done. It's not done yet. That leaves Tony Ferguson. He and I have had some back and forth. We've spoken over social media, call outs here and there. I mean, I think he's down to fight. I think I'm down to fight. I think that's the perfect fight to introduce me to the UFC fans, to who I am. I think Tony Ferguson's the scariest guy in the division. You know, he's got a screw loose and he fights like it. You know, and it's admirable. So it would be I think that would be a great introduction fight for me. As far as timeline, man, my body's been going since March. You know, when the pandemic hit, I was training for that last fight on my last contract to get into free agency, and you know, I felt it this camp. You know, I've been training the whole year, missed my family the whole year, but you know, as I said, I'm a fighter, and I want to strike while the iron is hot. But I'd like a little bit of time off, so we'll see.
Michael, you were saying about in terms of those fights that introduce you to the UFC fan base, Tony Ferguson is perfect. They're starting to film The Ultimate Fighter in the next few weeks. I was thinking about possible coaches. There doesn't seem to be any obvious choice right now. If the UFC came to you and said, we'd like to put you and Tony as coaches on The Ultimate Fighter as a way to introduce you at large to the UFC fan base, would you say yes, even though you wanted to take a break?
You know, everything changes with circumstances like that. You know, I mean, I would miss the heck out of my family. My body would probably revolt against me for it, but I think I would say yes to that. I was always a fan of The Ultimate Fighter. How long has it been off the air now? Yeah, a few years. So like kind of the revamp coming back. Is it on ESPN? You know, so they're gonna revitalizing that franchise under the UFC banner is something that I would love to be. You know, at least have my name thrown in the hat if they offered that. I think that would be something we'd definitely take a big look at, and I do love Las Vegas.
You mentioned you wanted to prove to Dana that you're going to be a company guy by saying yes to Gaethje, Khabib, whatever. Obviously, Islam Makhachev's opponent fell out. I know that you weren't super interested in that fight because of his ranking. Did the UFC ever even start that conversation with you?
They didn't. And so I did not turn down that fight, contrary to popular belief with all the chicken heads and stuff that people are sending me that I'm a chicken on social media. I did not turn down that fight. The fight was never offered to me, nor was it a fight that I was necessarily interested in. You don't just deviate from the plan to take a short notice fight against a different guy. You know, we were focused on the task at hand. The task at hand is the backup replacement for this fight. As you said, there's a lot more things at play here. You know, we got some plans, talkings about what's going to happen next. So that was not part of the plan.
If Tony doesn't come through, I know him and the UFC have got some negotiating to do. Obviously, another guy said your name is Dan Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
He says that by being the backup, the UFC have proven they value you that high, and that he wants to be the one to welcome you. Is that a fight you're interested in?
I mean, let's be honest. I've fought outside the UFC for so long, and I've seen some of these great performances these guys have put on. I have a ton of respect for every single lightweight on this roster, especially every single lightweight in the top 10. I by no means wanted to come in and disrespect anybody. Didn't want to come in and throw my weight around. I just said, I think I know who I am, and I want to prove it pretty quickly, and it's pretty easy also to, a lot of people say, why don't you get an easier fight? Why don't you get someone outside the top 10, top 20, top 30, just get an introductory fight? But for me, it's sink or swim. At this point, I've been in this game for a long time. I'm not looking to take tune-up fights. But the Dan Hooker fight, I think he's ranked number 6, and he's just came off a phenomenal performance against Dustin Poirier, very hard-fought fight. Even though he lost that fight, I think he's on the up and up. It's a fight I'm interested in, but that Tony Ferguson fight makes a ton of sense, and it's a scary fight. I think Tony Ferguson, stepping in the cage against Tony Ferguson, is a fight that scares me, which is exciting. I want to feel that. I want to look across the octagon and feel a little bit of uncertainty, because that's where I thrive.
Last time we saw a big free agent come into the UFC was Ben Askren. Admittedly, didn't necessarily go his way inside the cage, but he came in and made a huge impact in terms of superstardom and built his own brand, if you like.
Yep.
Massively. Is that something you looked at and thought, I could be the next version of that?
Yeah, Ben's one of the reasons I got into this sport. Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren wrestled with both of them in college. They started fighting, and they were like my big brothers, so I kind of followed in their footsteps. But yeah, seeing what Tyron has done over the last, however many years, and then seeing what Ben, the splash that Ben made, was definitely something that I looked at, and I was in contact with him throughout the whole process, the wins, the losses, the splashes, the Twitter and Instagram wars that he would get in, the trash talk. I'm not the biggest trash talker, so me and Ben are different in that regard. But I do think I have a message, and I have a voice that I want to use. So I want to be very active out there and build this platform as much as possible. But I've always looked up to Ben as a competitor, as a man, as a father. So it's he's definitely one of those guys that I've looked at and said, this is what you can do with this platform very quickly, especially if you go out there and put on great performances. Which, say what you want about me in or outside of the cage, I've never once taken a backward step. I've never once been in a boring fight. I want to come forward, and I want to have a good time out there. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
Michael, you're one of several guys and girls over the years that, you're doing great work outside of the promotion, but I'm assuming everybody bugs you. When are you going to do UFC, this and that? Can you explain, what do you guys go through? Because obviously there are a lot of fighters over the years that, you get frustrated hearing about it when you're doing solid work against the competition they give you.
Yeah, and I think that's what it always has been. You're always trying to ride that fine line, and because like I said, I think that audacious, flamboyant self-belief and self-confidence should be celebrated, not stricken down as, oh, this guy's talking trash, or this guy is, out of his mind. I've said things about Khabib. I've said things about being able to beat a lot of the other guys in the top of the lightweight division. I wasn't able to prove that because I was outside the organization. So should I have kept my mouth shut? No, probably not. I want to talk about me being able to beat some of these guys. This moving here to the UFC and signing with the UFC, is me getting that opportunity. But yeah, it's always been one of those. I mean, 2011, I came out and beat Eddie Alvarez, who was widely regarded as the number 3 lightweight in the world. Finished him. From that day on, everybody said, when are you going to the UFC? At that point in time, it was Benson Henderson as the champion. Hey, you need to fight Benson Henderson. You need to go to the UFC, fight Benson Henderson, be the champion. And then it was Pettis, and so on and so on and so on. So fighting outside of the UFC has given me, there's been a lot of frustration that has come with it, because, there wasn't a day that went by that I wasn't always thinking about sitting right here. And I would rest my head on the pillow at night thinking, okay, it could happen someday, but if it doesn't happen, are you going to be okay with it? And I think that answer was probably not. It became apparent to me that probably not. It wasn't going to be something that I was going to be able to live with, not ever coming to the UFC. But it has also afforded me the opportunity to sit back and plot and plan and look and watch and study and take notes of the entire mixed martial arts industry, and what it looks like, what works, what doesn't work, and see some of these guys' meteoric rise and what they did and how they made an impact. So I've studied for a very long time to be in this position.
Have they fitted you for your own fight kit, and have you tried on the UFC gloves yet?
I did, yeah. So I actually, my manager Randall got me a pair of UFC gloves, because obviously I've been fighting for 11 years outside the UFC. I wanted to see what they felt like. I wanted to train in them, see if there was any hang-ups with them. Loved them, great gloves. But I, today, this morning, actually, I put on the UFC fight kit for the first time, trying it on and changing sizes and the fit and all that kind of stuff. And I've cornered guys here in the UFC a couple times, so I've worn the fight kit, not the actual fight shorts, but today it was a kind of an interesting feeling, because I didn't necessarily, like I said, wasn't necessarily always looking forward to it like I was for sure going to be here, but I always wondered what it would be like to put on the UFC gloves, to put on the UFC fight kit. So here we are, and I'm not satisfied with just putting it on. I'm not going to be satisfied until I put that UFC gold around my waist.
I mean, we know it fits, so you could fight in it Saturday if you need to, but
yeah.
I guess on a sentimental level, was there any, like, I made it? Was there any, I guess, what goes through your mind when you see the UFC logo on your hands?
No, I don't think it's an I made it, and that was one of the most frustrating things, and that's not to say anything, to downplay the UFC at all, or being sitting here right now, or what the men and women here at the UFC have done. This is the ultimate proving grounds for mixed martial arts. This is the biggest and most widely regarded, highest ranking mixed martial arts platform on the planet. So to be sitting right here is definitely an honor. But I'm so not satisfied with just putting on the gloves. I'm not satisfied with just putting on the fight kit. Honestly, I'm not satisfied sitting here if I don't get to fight. I didn't. This was not my first choice. I didn't say, hey, Dana, let me come be the backup for the UFC 254. That sounds like fun. Number one, I hate making weight. Nobody does. And secondly, I don't want to have to go through a whole fight camp and be away from my family and not get the opportunity to fight. So this is not my number one choice. But you make the best decision you can with the opportunities that you have in front of you and the information that you have. So here we are. And like I said, I think I'm going to be UFC lightweight champion in the next 12 months.
In terms of the actual fight week, like you said, you've cornered guys, but you've not been an actual fighter. So you've seen it from one side, but now that you're here, has anything been different than what you expected?
It's a lot bigger than I thought. It's a lot. I mean, I think, I will say, I've been to a lot of different fight weeks. I've been to some of the, I don't want to ever say too many cards are small with the UFC. The UFC always puts on great shows, big shows, but there's the smaller venues, or there's the smaller cities, or there's, we all know that. But Abu Dhabi, the W here, this is hospitality at its finest. Them rolling out the red carpet. This is pretty cool. So this being my first fight week experience, I've never experienced anything like this in mixed martial arts. So this is cool. And just the staff, the well-oiled machine of the UFC. I've been around it a little bit, and I've known, because I somewhat try to understand business or how promotions are ran, and they do it right. And They leave no stone unturned in the preparation, and now obviously with a worldwide pandemic going on and the coronavirus, they've taken a ton of extra precautions. So, it's bigger, it's more intricate, it's exciting. This is a very exciting time for me. I'm just really excited to step into the cage. If it doesn't happen this weekend, very soon.
And when Benson left the UFC, he made a point saying like he was a prize fighter, so he wanted to go where the money was right, but he was going to miss a lot of the behind-the-scenes people, like the photographers, the social media team, the PR. Do you feel like that at all about Bellator, considering you spent so much time there?
I do, actually. Because, fight promotions aside, fighting in a cage aside, the sport aside, I mean, these are all human beings and heartbeats and souls and people that you I can't tell you the amount of people that reached out to me from Bellator, text messages and emails and voicemails and calls just saying, hey, best of luck, congratulations, we're going to miss you. And then, quite frankly, there was a lot of people who were even pulling for me, hey, if you got to leave and it's the best thing for you, see you later. Get lost, because I want you to go do what's best for you, And those are the kind of relationships that you have. I mean, even at my last fight, you guys, if you heard my post-fight speech, the man who was holding my microphone, Mike Sarnosky, him and I have spent the last 8 years prior at every single fight, and he's inside the house. He's the guy who knows the decision before Michael C. Williams, the announcer, did. And my wife always knew to look to him to know what the answer, like all these different things behind the scenes, things that people don't know. And there was times where I lost a close split decision. My wife knew before it got announced, and these kinds of things, and where he would look down and so. I miss everybody at Bellator, because I will forever be indebted to them and their service to me and my career. So I fully expect, and I'm excited about creating those relationships here at the UFC.
Will you still pay attention to how those divisions and titles play out, considering you were so attached to like a lot of those fighters for so long?
No, not really the fighters. I mean, that's one thing I can say. I wasn't really close to too many of the fighters. You know, I trained with a couple Bellator fighters, but for the most part, of course, I'll always be a fan of the organization. I'll be a fan of mixed martial arts. If there's good fights, I don't care if it's in a shoebox in Alaska. I'm going to watch it. So yeah, I'll watch it loosely.
And